I'm Dawn Montefusco, Transformational Writing Coach, and this is the healing power of words. Create with passion and write powerful stories that have impact. And today we have a dear friend and a woman who literally changed my life, and I'll tell you about that in a second, Tama Kieves. Tama, an honors graduate of Harvard Law School, left her law practice to write and help others create their most extraordinary lives. She is the best-selling author of This Time I Dance, Creating the Work You Love, and Inspired and Unstoppable, Wildly Succeeding in Your Life's Work, and A Year Without Fear, 365 Days of Magnificence. Her most recent book is Thriving Through Uncertainty, Moving Beyond Fear of the Unknown and Making Change Work for You. Featured in USA Today and on Oprah Radio, she's sought after speaker and visionary career success and book writing coach who has helped thousands, arguably millions, worldwide to discover, launch, and thrive in life, calling and businesses of their dreams. She's also taught A Course in Miracles for 28 years. Go to tamakieves.com and sign up for her free creative guide on undoing fear and unleashing a calling now. And all the links will be on this page. And I just want to say, it brings my heart so much joy to have you on the show, Tama.
I'm so honored. I'm so glad to be seeing you and the light that we're about to unleash together.
So cool.
Yes.
So I'm going to call out the elephant in the room quickly. Holy moly. Talk about uncertainty. So we're gonna dive in because this book is the book that everyone really truly should have on their nightstand every day. Before we do, I always like to ask, what are you up to these days? Any projects or anything you'd like to tell us about?
Oh, well, Thriving Through Uncertainty, the book has just been going crazy. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I did not write this for a pandemic. But when you're following your inner voice, I guess it knows more. And so one of the things I've been doing a lot of is, as you know, I teach A Course in Miracles. And so
I took her course, by the way, and it's a bomb.
Yes, thank you. And so we've combined, I've done a new course now that's been off the charts on Zoom, and we're running it again in September. It's called Thriving Through Uncertainty with A Course in Miracles.
Oh, I'm
writing a book and A Course in Miracles. It's been so fun.
Up.
It's been amazing. And it's just creating a worldwide support for this.
Everybody out there, if you'd like to be in the group with me, I'm going to join up. So
it just got exponentially better, baby.
Awesome. I mean, it's really a pleasure. You feel like Tama's right next to you, even digitally. It's incredible. Your energy does like just pierce through time and space.
Thank you.
So who knew, right? All right. It seems like, I kid you not, like this is the perfect book for these times. And you say in Thriving Through Uncertainty in the beginning, you have a quote, "You may feel like things are challenging at this moment in your life, but let's get this straight right now. It's not because you're failing or broken. It's because your spirit demands soaring, not coping. It's your time." I love this quote. Can you share what you mean by that and how it applies right now?
I think it's the most important thing right now, and probably at any time, is that so many of us feel like we're struggling or we're scared, especially if you're a creative soul and you want to live an inspired life. There's always this uncertainty that happens and you feel like you're broken. Mm-hmm. And like I said in the book, it's because your spirit is demanding soaring, not coping. And most of us have learned the ways of coping. We've learned how to make it in the world, what you're supposed to do, what's supposed to happen. And the whole world is changing, right? The conventional answers don't work anymore. The things that used to be safe don't work anymore. And that's good news because there's something in each of us that's born to soar, that's born to thrive. And most of us have been afraid to listen to it because we're supposed to do this path or that path, right? And that's what this time is for, my story. I'll just tell it very briefly because it's
tell it. This is the best story. Seriously, I never get tired of it.
just because it's, I'm one of those teachers that I always teach what I'm learning, and I always teach what I've, and so for me, just to give you an example of the difference in coping and soaring, right, is that, when I was younger, I knew that I wanted to write. That was my dream. I loved writing. I didn't know exactly it, but I knew I loved something creative. But I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and my family's Orthodox Jewish. And I got advice like, you're going to write, you're going to starve, you're going to write. And so, that wasn't the most encouraging thing. And my mother said something like, what, you can't write on a Sunday? Get a job, get a job. And most of us got this same exact advice. People listening to this who have a creative soul, who have an inspired soul, who's here to be a messenger, who's here to heal. You got the same advice. Be practical, be safe, be reasonable. And so we ignored our instincts. I ignored my instincts. I went off to Harvard Law School, graduated with honors. I was on partnership track, major law firm. And like so many people, I just felt so empty, so bitter or broken. Like, what is this life for? Why am I working so hard and it's not even what I want? And I was depressed, and thank God a friend said, if you've been this successful doing something you don't even love, what could you do with what you love? So that was my jump point.
What a beautiful
Isn't that a great quote? That's in This Time I Dance. And that was my jump point. And I tell this story because it's the basis of everything I do. And it's the difference between coping and soaring. Coping is getting by on other people's standards, doing what you're supposed to do, doing what looks right, which nowadays you can't even do, right? Things changing.
I love the Gen Z and millennials who basically said, you're out unless you're authentic.
Exactly. And so that's really what that's what Thriving Through Uncertainty is about. That's what this time in life is about, is that you're here to soar. You're here to bring forth that brilliant self. For me, making that choice to become, to follow my writing, to write books, to teach, to coach, to, become what I became, I would have missed this opportunity.
Totally.
And I don't want anybody missing this opportunity, their opportunity. And that doesn't mean it's not scary, but it's your time. So anyway, just wanted to say.
That's something I want to point out. Okay, so here you go. Ready?
Yes.
One of my favorite chapters, Finding Faith When You're Freaking Out. I mean, the book is incredible. I just want people to see how it's even laid out. She had these reviews, turning points, which I love, turning points, and just the real deal. You tell the story, and I won't give it away, but just about the story about the living room, and you'll all have to get it to see how it was right in front of you, right? Your dreams basically are right in front of you, and sometimes, and most of the time, it takes rattling to get people to think a different way.
And I really think that's what's going on right now, is that we all have such tiny ideas of we all have such tiny ideas about who we are, and other people are encouraging us to take tiny paths, be practical, or sometimes I won't go into the whole living room story, but basically,
everybody got to get the book.
It is a good story of just because basically it was just the thing of I couldn't even find my answers, because I had such a prescribed questions, I was thinking in such a tiny little way, what can I have within this little thing and this thing, and again, it was just this thing of, we are now asked to be reinventing ourselves and reinventing this world, because your life has become too small for what you really are. So if you're struggling or things are falling apart, it's because there's something in you that's bigger, that's creative, that's inspired. And that's really what Thriving Through Uncertainty is about. And it's about learning, how do you listen to that? How do you follow that? How do you deal with your fears when you're freaking out? That's really what this path is about now.
I really want to say, one of the things that I love about it is that, courage is taking action in the light of fear. Doesn't mean you're not scared. And your book really, truly is if you want a guidebook on getting the courage to listen to that little voice in your head, this is the guidebook for that, because it just nails it. It also, on page 92, you say, The dream basher in you pushes you into airtight commitments, but real change is about breathing, coming in and going out. Daring to live the authentic life that calls you is a path of invitation, not obligation.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, there's an, like, every page is something to really, and I'm not saying that lightly, like, it's really a powerful book. You know, I want to ask another question here. Just how has writing, just if we just look at that,
Mhm.
helped you heal?
Oh my God. I want to cry even just hearing the question. I
Mm,
mean, just it's changed my whole life. I mean,
yeah,
of for me, of course, it was my deepest desire, and
yeah,
to dare to listen to that, to listen to your deepest desire when you don't know how, and you don't believe in it, and you don't necessarily have the support or the team
right.
or the whatever, of so I mean, but the thing I want to say, because especially for the great work that you're doing here, is that for so many of us, we're here to be messengers. We're here to be healers. We're here to shift. And so writing healed my life because I've written every single one of my books because I couldn't find it. Because I'd be
True,
looking for self-help
true.
books. And then I think, oh my God, like, why isn't this working for me? Am I failing self-help? Like, oh my God, I've gone to self-help and it's not working for me. And so I wrote, I mean, it sounds trite, but in some ways, I wrote the book that I desperately needed.
Yes.
I wrote all my books from my sense of fear or pain and like the answers I need. Because as you know, like, I'm very authentic in my books. I want to be very, in all my teaching. It's like,
It's fantastic.
thank you. And it's like, I wanted somebody to tell me what the hell do you do when you can't do anything? Or how did
Yes.
you inspire yourself? So the other thing I will say about how writing heals people is because this world is so noisy and there's so much
Yes.
hearing the media and you're hearing whatever. And writing, at least for me and for many of us, is a way to deeply get in touch with your truth.
Right.
Your truth is all I care about. I don't even care. My truth is what I care about for me. But when I'm working with somebody else, your truth is what I care about. You have answers.
Mm,
You have knowings I don't have. You know how, like, you can hear different advice from different people, but
right.
you integrate it until you really explore it and listen. When it comes through you in writing, it's real. And for me personally, it's how I discovered, God. It's
Yeah,
how
totally.
I do A Course in Miracles, and it's like I would not have believed in a spiritual path, but for me, when I wrote, I tapped capacities I didn't know I had.
Yes.
Giving me faith. So I could talk forever on that. So
Tell people out there, because I attract a lot of people who are stuck, who are like trying to break through the resistance barrier of writing, and it's the journey of writing
yes,
that brings you to the healing. Like,
yes,
you can think all you want about writing, but
yes,
it's the actual journey which takes
yes,
courage.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and what I love that you,
And I'll just say to that.
yeah,
Oh, would you just? I'll
no,
just
go for it.
really quickly. Like, so I, in my coaching, I work a lot with artists and entrepreneurs and visionaries, very much like you.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I work with all the time is exactly what you just said. It's that we are supposed to hit these obstacles.
Yes.
Supposed to hit these difficulties. It's not that you're blocked. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's that you are going to choose in your lifetime which voice you listen to and which you make real. And every one of us, I have had to walk through the door of every one of my freaking blocks and its mother and my mother. And so,
I have my mother in my head, Dawn,
but
no,
it's
what you're doing, you can't do that,
exactly, but it's the healing, because are you gonna back down? When you back down, when you let that voice push you into a corner, and I would have denied myself this incredible life, and I would have denied the people who I reach their help because I didn't listen to this. So again, that, the obstacles that we hit along the way, they're part of the healing. They're what
Absolutely.
opens up the juice. So yes.
And writing isn't comfortable. Like, I think people think that writing is supposed to be like this super cushy, oh, it's going to just float out of me. I mean, it gets comfortable, but it's not always
It
comfortable.
does? No.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are moments, there's sometimes, right? But if you feel that calling, felt the calling and you had to do it. And I do want to say to everyone, you know, in 2005, I met a woman from New Zealand who actually wrote just, you know, you're meant to be a full-on full-time writer. She says, bring it on. And I was like, huh? And she'd noticed I was teaching in the community college, and I was using lots of my time grading papers and doing all these other things. And I had this dream of actually being a writing coach internationally and writing. And so here's what I want to say to everyone out there. This book, the first book, This Time I Danced, literally had me quit my job and follow my dreams. So the healing, when you think about it, it's not just the healing of the writer, but you are denying someone the opportunity to change.
And that really is it, because you don't even realize, so many people don't even realize that your gifts are not for you. Your gifts are not for you. I had no idea the people I would reach. I was saving my own life. I wasn't even one of these, you know, beneficent people that, oh, I want to help the world. I was way more selfish. It's just like, I need to breathe, you know, and so I was just writing because it's fun and it was helping me. And again, it was one of the ways that I heal and I tapped something. I had no idea. I dreamed I wanted it to reach people, but the people you reach, you have no idea. It's like, again, the gifts that are in you, they're knocking at your door because they're for you to heal, but they're for other people too.
Oh, this works perfectly into my next question. You have a chapter in Thriving Through Uncertainty called Dare to be Unfaithful, Sporadic, and Unusually True to Yourself. This is one of my favorite chapters. Can you share what you mean by that and how you use that strategy?
Absolutely. Because, you know, so much of my work and so much of this work, if we're in these times of thriving through uncertainty, or if you're on any kind of creative path, it's not about a linear path. Most of us are linear. We're tracking. I got to get from A to B to C to D. I have to have follow through. I have to have accountability. I have to have, you know, all these different things. We get in our own ways. An inspired path can begin at any moment. So when I'm working with somebody and they'll say, oh God, Tam, I didn't do it, and I didn't write, or I didn't follow through on something I said, and it's like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't. You know, for me, there's a line in A Course in Miracles that's all about choose again. Choose now. Because what we want to do is we want to beat ourselves up and analyze, was it my mother's fault, or is it my Ayurvedic fault, or is it my fifth lifetime? It's like, I don't care. Let's start now. Because the second you do something towards your dreams, the second you do anything, your brain chemistry changes. You've invited your spirit in. You invite that love in. This is all about having an incredibly loving relationship with yourself. It's all about having an incredibly loving relationship with yourself. I have been wildly sporadic. I don't fit any model. I wish I did. Believe me, I wish I had.
I love it. You're saying this is so good. Because, you know, I have that thing where I am consistently inconsistent.
Amen.
There I am. Yeah.
You know? But again, I'm a role model of you can be wildly inconsistently, wildly off track, and still do it.
Absolutely.
Will you choose again? Will you begin now? And by the way, sometimes we're not meant to follow through on everything.
Thank you for saying this. Say this more. Tell the audience.
We are meant to follow our guidance. We are meant to follow our gut. We are meant to follow our heat and our juice. We're not necessarily meant to follow through on every goal that our brain sets. Because your brain starts going, oh, this must be my definition now, or this must be the book I'm writing. I read some horrible thing, and Annie Dillard once said, you know, like you get halfway through writing a book and then you realize you're writing the wrong book.
Yeah.
You know, and then you want to rip up that book. Well, that's happened to me. As you go along, it's a creative, inspired path. By the way, you're speaking every single second. Every second you listen to your inner voice. So especially for those of you who are thriving through any kind of uncertainty right now, the second you choose to listen to your gut or your spirit or your soul over your head, you're already on track. It's already happening. And it's exponential and it's cumulative. It's not linear. Right. Again, so that's what I mean by that chapter.
You know, I love the Course in Miracles, and I have a very faith-based audience. Um, tell us a little bit about, that how would we tap into that little voice? What maybe, or what do you do to tap into your
What
little
do I do? So for me, one of the things I learned from teaching A Course in Miracles and studying it for so many years is that it's not only about how I tap into the voice as much as that I recognize that I'm not tapped in.
Yes,
You know what I mean? So
I do.
it's almost like one of the things that the Course in Miracles teaches is that that love is natural. That presence is natural. It's always speaking. It's always whatever. But we are listening to something else.
Right.
So when I'm listening to my practical mind, when I'm listening to good judgment, when I'm listening to what I think I should do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of touch with that inner voice. So that's the first thing I'd say. The other thing, in Thriving Through Uncertainty, not to plug it, but why not?
Well, plug it.
Why not?
It's something that, I mean, really, if we have a tool that could help the world, we would it would be a disservice if we weren't telling everybody to read the freaking book,
Well, I actually put in my personal favorite technique of how I get in touch with my inner voice in Thriving Through Uncertainty, and it's called Inspired Self-Dialogues. And it's a writing technique.
That's right. I remember that.
Right? That,
yeah.
I write out the fear, I write out the love, I write out the fear, I write out the love, and it goes into specific instructions and how you think about it, whatever. But for me personally, it's just been, I've never been really great at listening, like through meditation. I've never really been good. This mind, quieting down, not so much. But I've decided if I have a strong mind, and most of my clients really have very strong minds, right? Really powerful people.
Absolutely.
And so it's like we use it. So like we get the fears out, but then we channel that mind into that love, and it's learning a different relationship. It's amazing. So
fantastic. I'm going to say this because I know it's real. And as Tama followed her calling piece by piece by piece, I know that you were being guided to write this because your higher power knew what was coming. I mean, I really feel that when someone's in as much alignment as you are, where you walk your talk, you teach Course in Miracles all the time so that you stay within that conversation, you're writing, I mean, your story is incredible. It shows up. Right? Like, hey, your higher power is like, you don't know the 2020 is going to be this way, but since you're following the voice, we're going to set you up to help a lot of people.
I know.
And I just really think that I remember when this came out and it felt like something was coming. Like it really did. Like when I read that, the Thriving Through Uncertainty, I'm like, shit's going to go down. Like something's happening, because those that I look up to and heroes, I feel that there's these weird cosmic hints, and it shows.
That is so interesting. And I wrote it at the time. I mean, certainly I had no idea, right? But I kept thinking, like, what is the common denominator of why people don't succeed? Like, I just kept asking myself, like, with all these brilliant artists and beautiful, intelligent people and conscious people, like what stops them from succeeding? I just kept trying to think through that. And I thought, they don't know how to handle uncertainty.
Right.
They can't stay with it. They cave. They listen to that other voice. They think it's safer, right? They thought it's safer. Believe me, I know. I do the same thing. But so I was really, and by the way, I really struggled in the beginning of writing Thriving Through Uncertainty because I was like in a depressive kind of place because I wasn't writing. And I talked myself out of writing thinking, why bother?
Right.
Then you have to market it.
Yeah.
Just like, and I was thinking, well, maybe, whatever. And I was thinking I was depressed because of the way the world was. Like, it's not fair. You have to market it. You have to have lots of money to teams, whatever. But what I didn't realize is I was depressed because I wasn't writing, because I wasn't doing what I was meant to do. And the second I showed up for writing this book, something else kicked in and said, I was born for this. Are you kidding? Of course this is going somewhere. So I think that's always a lesson.
This leads perfectly to the next question. So you've published 5 books with a leading publisher. You've taught all over the country, coached thousands. Again, I'll argue that there's probably millions out there. But when you started, you didn't have an agent or a publisher. So how did you find the courage to get going, keep going, with that first book? Because a lot of people out there are doing that first book.
Yes. And the first book was my journey of learning because, This Time I Dance took 12 years to
Right. That's right. I knew that.
12 years. And I always tell people, I think it took 11 years to heal and 11 years to believe and 11 years to trust and 1 year to write a book. Right.
That's amazing.
Right. So for those of us who are struggling with different things, keep in mind, you are undoing a system of thought. You are listening to something else. You are stepping into such a bigger life. It's not just about the writing. But to answer your question of, like many people, I've just kept feeling like this little haunting, like you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to write, you're supposed to write. And then all the fears would come in, like, who the hell are you? And you don't have a contract and you don't have a publisher and nobody's knocking on your door, but I just kept feeling that. And for me, I think it was this real journey of learning to trust my own inner instincts and to decide in my lifetime, I want to know where this goes. In my life, I may be wrong, but I want to know. I want to know if I can trust this. And you probably remember, but for me, the most amazing thing happened with This Time I Dance. Not only all the healing, of course, but I self-published it at first. I originally self-published it and got that guidance to do that. And
it's a great story. Tell it. I love this.
And just, and I kept hearing, just put it in the river, just put it in the river.
Yeah.
Put it out there somehow, some way. And it was so scary because, like many of us, it's like, oh my God, coming up with my own money and doing this and whatever. I don't know anything about publishing. But at 4 months after I self-published it, it got discovered by a vice president of marketing and publicity for Random House.
So cool.
She wrote and said, your fairy godmother has arrived. And she wrote to me and said, this is the best book I've ever read on finding your calling and doing your dreams. I want to get it to a major New York house. She got it to Torture Penguin, which was my dream publisher.
Yeah, I remember Penguin.
They bought the book exactly the way that it was. They didn't edit it. They didn't change the title. They kept everything. They've bought every other book since. Same amazing. And so I always teach this concept of you can't plan an inspired life.
Right.
Plan and inspire. I couldn't plan that. And so all of us who are struggling and daring, you can't plan. It sounds so great now, right? But all that struggle, but here's what you can do. You can't plan an inspired life, but you can follow. You can follow in the moment. You can follow. There's something speaking to you right now. And that's what you do. You follow breadcrumb to breadcrumb.
Yeah, just little bits. That's what I say. Follow the breadcrumbs. And it doesn't have to take 20 hours.
No, and it doesn't have to take 12 years.
Or like a long time, like a little bit each day adds up. I mean, it's incredible. And we have the time right now, many of us. I know essential workers are different, but even essential workers, I mean, there's only so much socializing we can do right now. So there is time to read the book, Thriving Through Uncertainty, and tap in and see what pops, But here's another thing. This series is all about making words matter. And, for those times when people doubt, and this is where, you and I know this,
right?
But words make a difference. People, like if it's a social media post, a blog, an essay in your journal, but you're sharing the message to yourself or with God. But really, a lot of people are out there right now writing, and their words matter. Tell us a little bit about how that everybody matters when it comes to their words.
Yes, that's such a great question. And it's like, I really urge people to think like, don't put me or Don or anyone else on some pedestal like, oh, well, yeah, their words. It's like, no, your words. We need your voice. No one has your voice like you do. Again, each of our stories, each of our nuances, each of our observations, your pain, what you've walked through, what you are walking through. For me personally, one of my personal beefs in this world is that the media sometimes can be so negative and focusing so much on what's not working. And we are the presence of the alternative. You have the power to shift this world. words do change lives. Words change. Haven't you read a book and it changed the way you thought about something, or it gave you hope, or it made you feel less alone in this world? It
Absolutely.
could even be, some of you are thinking, oh, well, I'm not a self-help writer, but I always tell the story of my mother was very alone. She was an older woman and she was very alone. But she read all these romance novels. And I'll tell you what, I blessed those romance novel writers because they gave my mother comfort. They let her go to China with some guy in her dream,
Yes.
right? So anything that you are feeling guided to write, we need your voice.
That's the guidance, whatever it is. That's the thing that people don't, they go, oh, nobody wants to hear that. Yes, we do.
Yes, they do. Especially because we're so sick of hearing us. I
I
love
know.
hearing other. I want to hear your problems. I'm so sick of hearing mine. I really want to know how it is for you. And again, what if you even tried on that little nudge or that voice within you is your soul?
Oh,
That this is not frivolous. This is imperative. This is not frivolous. This is the saving of your soul. By the way, had my books never gotten published, I would have been disappointed, but I'll tell you what, they healed me.
yes.
In my lifetime, I know I tried. In my lifetime,
Yes.
I gave myself that chance. So it's a healing for you to do this, and it's a healing for so many other people.
And even if no one sees it, I have a woman, actually, she's published a bunch of books and I've interviewed her, and then she said something. She goes, oh, I have a memoir. She's 74. And I was like, well, can I order it? She goes, oh, no, I don't know when I want to publish it yet. I'm just really enjoying writing that. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what an amazing woman. She could, and she probably would, it would work out, but like, that was for her. Like, she's working through something. And then what happens is, as you step into the thing that you love to do, you feel better. And when you feel better, everybody feels better around you. So we forget about that.
And what people don't realize also is that when you connect with your writing or your soul, whatever your dream is, maybe it's not writing, maybe it's painting, maybe it's helping children, whatever it is, when you do what you're meant to do, it's not only that you heal in that way, you become a better mother, you become a better wife, you become a better husband, I am so much more generous when I'm writing. I have friends that will go, oh, are you writing? You're a little edgy today. Are you writing? Because again, when I'm writing, I'm in touch. And then everything's alive, and you'll have creative ideas for everything, not just writing. So it's a brain chemistry thing. It changes your brain chemistry.
It really does. It really does. We can talk forever, I swear, and we will someday. Yes. But we're out of time. But check it out, everyone. You have an amazing free gift for us.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's one of my favorite classes. And I thought, oh my God, it was so perfect for this. So I just donated, gave it. It's called Magic Journey to the Self, a Free Writing Adventure. And what it is it's one of my favorite techniques. And I guide you on a guided meditation. I give you writing prompts. And I give you some instruction. And there are people, it's a live class. And so you see other people, and it was amazing because it's also giving you a different way to think, to get into the heat of writing, to get out of your head, the uncensored. Because the reason I love teaching that technique so much is because it's more than a writing technique. It's a meditation technique. It's a technique that gets you out of self-judgment and into self-genius. So that's what I wanted to, I just thought, oh my God, what a perfect gift to offer here. So, it's like
so awesome. Thank you. And everyone, all the links will be on this page to her class in September, to her book.
We did mention the class in September. Okay.
What'd you say?
I couldn't remember if we mentioned the class in September.
Yeah, we did. And I said I was signing up. And
yes.
It's okay. I get so caught up.
That was so 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. I love you. I'm the same way. Forget about it. TMI, menopause, can't remember anything.
I call it inspired time. It's inspired time.
Oh, I'm writing that, baby. I'm using that now. TMI, it is always a pleasure. And I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited that people are actually reading your book, because that's a very important way to heal right now, like in real time.
Yes.
And I just love everything you do. And I can't wait to work with you again.
Thank you. And same here, Dawn. Thank you so much for doing this series. It's such an important thing to do right now, and all the people you're serving. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
love you.
Love
Have
you
a
too,
great
honey.
day.
All right.
Bye.